So I'm at Aztalan State Park, south central Wisconsin. I'm walking over to the North Mound. So did you know that there are pyramidion shaped mounds in Wisconsin and pretty much all over the world? It's pretty cool. So these in Aztalan are non-burial mounds to my knowledge, though that could be incorrect. Aztalan was a settlement of a few hundred people, I believe around 500. They lived here for a few centuries, 3 or 4 centuries, about 1,000 years ago. Originally, people in the 1800s thought that this was a Mexican civilization. So I believe Aztalan is etymologically related to Aztec, if I remember right. But it's actually a Mississippian village, honestly kind of closer to a city. It's windy out. I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of milkweed here too, which is great for monarchs. So this was a Mississippian city. So the Mississippians are a pre-written record Native American culture. Since I'm from Wisconsin, I'm most familiar, it's windy, that the Ho-Chunk are the most commonly cited descendants. But we don't really know for sure because there's no written record that's been discovered. But the Mississippians are found around the Mississippi River. So that's why they're called that. I believe both Aztalan and Cahokia, it's basically New York City counterpart. Stepping through the palisade here. They're contemporary from the same culture. And so Aztalan is a northern outpost, basically, village. So there's a palisade around the front of the mound here. Here, I'm going to switch this around. So here's the North Mound. So I'm going to walk up that. So this was, thought to be really mysterious a few centuries ago. It still is. There's not really much that we know there's no written record. But various archaeological studies have been done in the last few centuries, so we know a little bit more. And as I come to the top of the hill here, you can see the Crawfish River in the distance here. And there's little tours here, like little signs so you can take a tour and read all about it. There's some stairs here. Otherwise, for accessibility, if you're really, really interested, you should be able to, at least with some help, get accessibility equipment up here, although I don't think it's officially rated for that, but they maintain the trails. There's some people over there, so I'm not going to turn my camera there. But, alright, so that is the South Mound there. So as you can see, they kind of expanded the base and were possibly going to build up. Or there's also this theory from colonial settlers that the chiefs lived up there. That's based on nothing. They just thought that. Especially Cahokia. So when Cahokia was colonized, the lead colonizers would live at the top. So Cahokia is a Mississippian city. About 10 times the population is here. No, more than that. So this was a few hundred, like 500 to 600, and Cahokia was like 50,000 to 60,000. Hi. So anyway, so that's in very southern Illinois. It's pretty close to St. Louis. Hi. Oops. So yeah, this is a state park. You can pay by the day. I think it's $8. Or if you get a state park pass, it's good for the year. You can do that. I'm going to film the river again. Here we go. So I'm kind of doing this little trail thing. So this is really cool. So one of the reasons that we don't know too much about a lot of earlier Native American culture is that a lot of goods were made from natural materials which broke down. So you're going to find things like metal and stone because those exist underground in their natural state. But if someone has, wood, cloth, things like that, that breaks down. And then this palisade wall here. They know from the archaeology record, you can tell from the carbon and from the color of the soil that there was a palisade wall here. So that's been reconstructed with stripped entire trees. And in the corners, there are these little doorways. I'm not sure if they were there originally or not, but they would have been good for defense to shoot out of. So there's these walls, and then when you get down to the river, I don't know, as long as you live over here, you know, that is a nice boundary marker as well. So if somebody paddles up and starts coming in your territory, you know, hopefully you know them. If you don't, not great. But they made this wall, which is pretty cool. We don't know for sure how high it was, I don't think, but you can kind of tell based on how far it was dug down about how tall it could have been. All right, so here's another little thing. So this is kind of just a general archaeology of warfare situation here. These little posts here are defense for archers. So I'm going to step inside this little space, and here's the river. And then the Rock River is a little bit further east of here. So here we are. So there's these trees all the way around. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. There we go. Right? So here's a doorway. Here's a doorway. And basically, you stand in here. I'm going to not go too far into here because of ticks. And you can shoot out of here, but if someone's shooting back at you, hopefully it'll get caught by the trees. So that's a pretty cool thing. And if it were to be used for defense, the sides of the pyramids make a natural glacis, which is where you, if you're familiar with the UW-Madison campus, the Humanities building, where the arts department is housed, is a good example of that. It's where you have sloping sides to give you a wider angle to shoot people, and you have the high ground, they have the low ground, they have to come up. I don't know. So this is really cool. Basically, it's a good outpost, good for defense, but there's not really much evidence of a ton of war. I don't really know, but you know, it's not known for that. And I'm no expert on North American history, but I like to know, you know, about the people who used to be here. And then there, over there in the distance, that's the North Mound. Kind of walking along the bottom here because some other folks are on the other mound. I want to give them their space. They didn't consent to be filmed. So this is a little bit long. So this is just really interesting. This is what I do sometimes. I just go to state parks and hang out. I got to go to Cahokia last summer, but I don't think any of the video footage was saved. I'm sniffing because it's cold out. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to try to get some more shots of, there's mounds by the entrance. Those could be burial mounds. Do not sled on them. Don't walk on them. If you're not from Wisconsin, you're probably not familiar with mounds. You don't walk or climb or anything on them. Same way you wouldn't, you know, skateboard in a cemetery. So even if they're just effigy mounds and not burial mounds, still same thing, don't do it. Oh, I should maybe talk about that. So I've told 2 people in the last month about this book, Spirits of Earth. It's a book that was recommended to me by a professor at UW. It's a book about Wisconsin's mounds. Here, I'm going to get a shot of the north. There we go. So yeah, effigy mounds are different from burial mounds.